Hey, it's Jen. I want to talk to you today about aligning your work to your truth, not Alex Hormozi's or Sunny Lenduzi's, or there's a lot of Uzis in this space, or Charlie Morgan, or whoever it is that you're working through on YouTube. And I say working through because there's something in the consumption, in the reflection of people doing what you want to do that helps you work through these inner demons and these inner conflicts that we have within ourselves when starting our business, scaling our business, because it rides with you along the journey. So some aspects of this will get easier, promise you. But others will ride with you, or they will change throughout time as your business evolves and changes. But you need to align your work to yourself. And that might sound a little airy-fairy. It sounds a little airy-fairy, quite frankly, coming from my lips, but it is part of my truth. So what I mean when I say that, it's part of my truth, and why aligning your work with your truth is so important is because whatever you decide to do within the coaching, mentoring, guidance space, it has to be important to you. And not just like casually important, but it has to like burn inside of you. Which makes it sound like maybe it's some other type of problem. But seriously, it has to be a calling. Like it calls you. So much so, you're going to pull out the camera and you're going to shoot content, or you're going to get out your computer and you're going to start typing out content. And this work has to be your calling. It has to be, I'm going to use the P word, it has to be your passion. And so people who are just like, I think it's really easy, especially as a midlifer, right? Starting this journey, it's really easy to say passion is BS. Like, I've been doing my career or my job for 20 whatever, 30 whatever years, and I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't passionate about the career that I got into. I had passion along the way. But it started out very pragmatically. It started out as, these folks are hiring people. I think I can do this work really well. I need money in health insurance. Like when I was starting my journey at 20, that's how pragmatic my concerns were at the time. But as time went on, and actually as I started that job and a possible career path unfolded to me, I was working full-time while going to college full-time. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing in college. I was literally just showing up and taking classes and doing work, but I was really struggling with creating an outcome for me for university, for college. And I decided to take this full-time job, second shift full-time job, because I was just like, maybe if I just start working, like I'll figure the rest of this out. And lo and behold, like I did in record time, quite frankly, because I stopped thinking about it and I started doing it. And I aligned my needs with this external thing that actually became part of my growth path. And so we can often watch other people's YouTube videos or read their content about how they've started their business or how successful their business is or whatever, or that they work like, 20 hours a day and they barely sleep, or they're working this successful business and running triathlons, or whatever the case may be. It's very easy to get caught up in that and think like, geez, like, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm an imposter in this thing that I'm doing. But if you listen to their backstories on the occasions that they give them, or you go backwards in time and watch their earlier videos, you'll see them struggle with this same thing and trying to figure out like what the work needs to be for them. And so I'm going to give you a super practical example of what this work needs to be for me. So I'm still working full time. I will not leave my full time career path or my full time employer currently, for that matter, until I have proven to myself and I've demonstrated that I have achieved a certain amount of revenue generation in this business. Because to do otherwise would be, well, stupid, quite frankly, for me at this point in my life. Or you could say silly. The time investment also I've got capped. Like, so with my adult responsibilities with partner and, I live on a 10-acre farmette, and there's responsibilities I have to the land here, responsibilities I have to my current role and my current employer, right? Like there's only 24 hours a day, and I need to sleep at least 7 of them personally in order to be effective in my day to day. And so, like, I don't have 12 hours to work a day. Like, it's an impossibility for me. What I decided I do have, though, is I've got 2 to 3 hours per day, 5 days a week, 100%. So Monday through Friday, I've got that amount of time. And there's more and more entrepreneurs, can't say that word today, in this space also, that you're hearing say, they only work 4 hours a day or a couple hours a day, or they only work like 10 to 15 hours per week. And that might seem like crazy because they're making, mid 6 figures into like 7 figures. And it's just like, how is that even possible, working that small amount per day? And part of it is, they have a team member or two that helps with that. Part of it is folks that have just a high level of automation in their back end, which AI is able to help facilitate. And that's all examples of things that I'm going to be incorporating into my business as I build it and I'll grow it and growing it. And I'll cover all that here in the future and future videos. So if you're interested in that, like and subscribe. But I've had to spend a lot of time, like more time than I thought I would need, to just like quiet time to figure that out for myself and figure out like what the characteristics of this work need to be, so that it's sustainable for me in the long term. And that's what I'm going for here. I'm going for high profitability and high sustainability, and also purpose. So it's purpose, profit, and just that sustainability element, because I can burn a hole in myself very easily, for projects, for people that are very close to me, for work that I do that is very important to me. And so I have to have good boundaries in that work that I'm doing. And so I'm aligned to myself and how I'm doing this. So as you're watching subsequent videos, if you're like, gee, I wouldn't do it that way, or man, I'm not comfortable with that, like that's not aligned to me, pay attention to those things. And then where those things are within the realm of the blueprint that emerges here, you got to do you in those areas. Like you can't do anyone else, and you have the freedom to do it any way you want to. That's the other piece of this. There's no one way that works. There's 100 different, probably thousands. There's probably an infinite, actually. There's probably an infinite amount of ways that work here, and there's no one way. So while it's important to watch other people's models and learn from them and honestly pay them for coaching and take their courses and participate in their groups, right? Because that can accelerate our progress, that can accelerate our learning. It's just as important, though, to engage the melon here on what parts of that are aligned and not aligned. And that's also why when you're looking, like, just hypothetically, if you're looking to work with a coach or take a course or whatever, why you need to be aligned with the content and the vehicle that they're using within their business. And you might say vehicle, like what the hell does that mean? So vehicle to me means like you're going to get in the car and drive it. What's the car, right? So for me, the car is helping midlifers, so people 40 and older, start their business. And specifically, these folks are usually professionals. So they've got a ton of career experience. And the specific vehicle I'm using is in helping them start. Eventually it'll be helping them scale. But right now I'm focused on starting. And I'm showing that or demonstrating that through starting this business myself. And so I'm showing people how to do it while doing it for myself at the same time, which is incredibly sticky because I'm not just some talking head like blah, 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 blah about this. I'm talking about how I'm doing this, but please know that at every pass, how I'm doing this or why I'm doing this is very much aligned to me and where I want this to go and who I need to be in the world. And likewise, we need blueprints and things like this and to understand like patterns of success, but it's literally just a pattern. There's no golden egg. There's no magic formula, right? If any of you grew up playing video games or still like playing video games, right? Like you're on the hero's journey in that video game. And more times than not, there's not any one way, even in a video game, like for the main character to do the thing that they need to do. There's hacks and tricks and tips if you're stuck, right? But rarely is there just like only one way that you can kill the dragon or whatever the situation is in that video game. And life and business is very much the same. There is no one way. The way you get the greatest fulfillment out of it is to ensure that the ways that you pick are aligned to you as a person. So me as a person, I like quiet work. I'm an introverted person by nature. I've learned how to be extroverted, but I'm definitely an introverted person by nature. And if I take a Myers-Briggs test or I go to 21personalities.com and I take the test, I'm an IN through and through. I love doing creative work that makes me think, that makes me learn. And so this is very much a vehicle for making me expand and think and learn my tool sets. It's both practical and it's philosophical in nature. The amount of time it takes or the amount of time that I'm going to give it, because I also subscribe very strongly to Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law is basically all about like however much time you give a thing to do, that thing you need to do is going to expand or contract in relationship to that thing. So I would say by and large, like I overwhelmingly, if I think I can do it in 2 days, I'm going to try to do it in 2 hours. Like I have that's just a thing within my nature. It's a thing within the teams that I've led also. It's like, well, you need 2 months, why? Can we get that down to 1 month? Can we get that down to 2 weeks? Can we get that down to 2 days? But alignment and focused intention is like your superpower in starting this business and keeping it sustainable. Because again, we're not looking for, quick money here. We're not looking for fast bucks. That's not what this channel's about. That's not what I'm about. I expect my growth to look like a hockey stick. So it's going to be very slow and organic. And at some point it's going to gain momentum and it's going to take off. And that's what some of the best, most sustainable business models that we see out in the world, that's how they happen. Most business models you see where there's been just like this explosive takeoff, like right at the gate, out of the gate, those businesses always suffer a major setback at some point, and it could be 6 months down the road, after that explosive growth. It could be 6 years down the road, but they always suffer some sort of major blowout in terms of distribution, in terms of revenue, in terms of inefficiency, in terms of quality, a whole host of things, right? So spend some time today thinking through what your ideal business needs to look like for you, both in terms of the building and the scaling. But honestly, you don't even need to worry about the scaling right now. Just focus on the building and define those characteristics. Maybe even think about it like a list of rules, right? And actually, I'll do a subsequent video on what my rules of engagement are for me, where this business is concerned. So would love to hear from you in terms of, what your alignment looks like. What are the absolute things that you just are deal breakers for you in starting your business? Comment below and I'll talk to you there. Take care. Bye-bye.